morning, Chamber members. Welcome to Monday Minute for Monday, July the 6th, 2020. Today I'm really pleased to have with me a special guest, Matt Jakes, who has taken over hosting the Battlefords Untapped podcasts that are going on in the Battlefords. This is now season 2. I know Matt has 2 episodes that are uploaded and ready for people to listen to, and I also want to talk to Matt about why you got involved, why you chose to get involved with Battlefords Untapped.
Oh goodness, yeah, a little story to tell there too, but my wife and I, as we were just talking about, just moved to the Battlefords just over a year ago, and of course that was right around the time when all that wonderful, news coverage was happening around, some perhaps less than good news about the city. And I think myself moving here as a photographer, I was just really hungry to learn more about the city and eager to find a way to put my skills to use. So for that first season, Eric Anderson was the host, and I ended up doing a series of portraits for each guest that was on the podcast, just to try to find a way to add some dimension to it's not just an audio experience, but help you meet the person too. And at the tail end of last season there was a particular episode around the McKittrick School's Kindergrad 2032, and that was a particular event, and unfortunately Eric couldn't make it, so Rob kind of on our committee kind of pressed me into action and said, hey Matt, instead of just taking pictures, would you mind doing some video and maybe a little bit of audio too? And so I was jumped into the deep end, but that was kind of my test run as a host, and Eric has had to move on to bigger and better things this year.
Thank you. And I just want to mention that Matt is speaking of Rob Rumvey, and of course many of you know he's been involved with the McKittrick School kindergarten classes, and of course is part of this Battlefords Untapped podcast team. So this is the second season. You've been roped into hosting second season. I know you have 2 episodes up, because I was lucky to be one of them.
That's right, yeah.
But you have guests lined up for the next few episodes?
That's right, yeah, exactly. We've got a number of guests lined up. We've got some interviews already recorded, but definitely a cool feature for this year too is that we really want to, thanks to our new website, battlefords.untapped.com, you can go check that out. Thanks to our new website, we've got a feature where people can click a tab up top there, and I think it says nominate a guest.
Perfect. I know we wanted to get to that.
Yeah.
So now, to nominate a guest, what would you like people to do?
Well, there's definitely that tab on our website. You can go and click that in, and there's a little form with a little bit of a questionnaire of, tell us about, who you are, who you're nominating, and why you think they'd be a great guest for the show. And I think the idea there, the overall idea for Untapped too, is just sharing stories from the community that put, some perhaps underappreciated or not, stories that people aren't aware of about the community, and put them in the spotlight. So really
positive things, right? As opposed to all the negative press we typically see.
Exactly, yeah. So it could be a business, it could be an individual, it could be an organization.
And where's the reach? How is it just in Battleford and North Battleford, or are you hoping to see some regional stories as well?
Well, definitely, the focus is right here on the Battleford. It's kind of the region, but I know I've got one guest that I was already trying to make arrangements with out at Cut Knife there and stuff. So we're talking, expanding the reach a little bit and really kind of saying this,
Our trading area, at least.
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome. For those who have not seen Battlefords Untapped, I would encourage you to visit their website, as Matt says, but also listen to the podcast. There's a couple of great ones, and that's awesome. If you've got some, I think you want to probably get about 10 or so in the season. Is that the plan?
Yeah, season 1 was 10 episodes, and I think we're kind of calling it a season because we had a change of hosts and a little bit of downtime there. So we're not really being super strategic about there's going to be exactly 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And especially now with this COVID stuff that we've been going through, we've been doing the episodes a little bit more frequently, a little bit more regularly. So we might end up having a little bit more than 10 in a season.
Yeah.
But we will probably take a break at some point in the fall there and call it a season.
But you would still encourage people to continue to nominate, because you want to hear those great stories and be able to slot them in and book times for them anyway.
Definitely. It's, I think Battlefords Untapped should be a year-round kind of entity, and these are stories that we want to keep telling. And yeah, when we fill the hopper for our episodes, that's kind of just our recording process, and then we'll get them out there. And maybe a lot of these, nominated guests, maybe not every single one can turn into an episode if we have a great community response. But then again, we've got our website, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got all these different ways of sharing those stories too. So it might not be a full episode, but there could be a way to, share that
I
story.
like some of it, yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I wanted to just remind you that the Chamber of Commerce has been supportive of Battlefords Untapped, and Action Battlefords has actually supported financially the program as well to tell the great stories about things that happen in the Battlefords. I hope you have an opportunity to listen to the Chamber part of that podcast. We just did episode 2 and talked about all of the things going on for business during COVID-19. Anyway, I wish you a great week in business. I want to thank Matt for coming to join us today, and we'll see you again in next week.